Gonzalez and district staff and other members that are joining us here today. Time is 12:05 p.m. on this 22nd of February 2022, and I call this special call meeting of the United Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. If I can have the board members present recite their name for the record, please.
Ricardo Molina Sr.,
Juan Roberto Ramírez,
Javier Montemayor,
Frank Castillo.
And myself, Ramiro Vélez III, present. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. We'll do agenda item 3, Pledge of Allegiance and Texas Pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. Okay, agenda item 4, public comments. I believe we have one. We're going to allow Ms. Tricia Cortez. She's present to. Ms. Cortez? Yes, ma'am.
And there were
Two other comments? All right, so we're going to try to keep them brief to 3 minutes because we have other individuals presenting, and they're all going to be within a certain time limit, so we're trying to keep the meeting brief for everybody. So.
And really quickly, I just would like to state for the record that in special call meetings, it's usually only for agenda items, but I will defer to the board chair and the board here.
Correct. Thank you, Ms. Schwab.
I appreciate that very much, Mr. Vélez, and good afternoon, Superintendent and Mr. Board President and trustees.
Yes, real quick, I'm going to interrupt you. Mr. Rick Rodriguez is joining us as well. Go ahead, Ms. Cortez, I'm sorry.
Yes, my name is Tricia Cortez, Director of the Rio Grande International Studies Center, and we are a co-founder of the Clean Air Laredo Coalition that got started in the fall. There's a presentation. Each of y'all should have a copy of it. Just very quickly, I wanted to highlight a few things. As you all have heard, I'm sure we didn't know about this until last spring when we found out. We started getting phone calls from investigative reporters and from EPA Region 6 that we started to do some research and understand more this issue of ethylene oxide and how dangerous this air toxin is and the level at which they are emitting this air toxin into our air. So we didn't know prior to this. It's important to understand that the rules of the game at a national level have been changing on ethylene oxide. It was 5 years ago that the EPA reclassified it as a known human carcinogen. And right now, and today as a matter of fact, there is a public hearing and we're going to speak, quite a few people from the coalition, and we hope y'all can submit comments by the end of March. But the EPA is going through a change in the rules regarding ethylene oxide and the level of emissions. Very quickly, this is a colorless, odorless gas. It's highly flammable. It is a very small, unstable molecule that can penetrate through all sorts of things, which is what makes it so effective as a sterilizer. What makes it so dangerous, the EPA, Mr. Vélez, what the EPA does is they monitor and regulate several hundred air toxins. Ethylene oxide is among the top 3 most severe of these air toxins. And one of the reasons is that it's mutagenic, and it goes in and it starts to change the DNA within cells. What is very important is when the EPA reclassified ethylene oxide as a carcinogen, they also stated that it is 60 times more toxic to children than previously estimated and 30 times more toxic to adults than previously estimated. This is all in your PowerPoint. This is the volume of emissions at which they have been emitting every year. This is self-reported data by the company that they then turn into the EPA. to give you an understanding of where Laredo ranks nationally in 2019, and for many years up through 2019, we were the second or the third largest emitter of ethylene oxide in the country. Right now, based on their 2020 self-reported data, we're in the top 5 or 6 still, so we're still pretty up there. To give you an idea, in the blue, there.
So Beatriz, I'm going to let you finish your thought real quick, your sentence, and then.
Yes, so in the blue, outside of Chicago, a community called Willowbrook, they mobilized and organized. That sterilization plant was doing about a fourth or a third of what Midwest does, and they mobilized to stop that. And just the last thing that I wanted to do here, Mr. Vélez, is just show you this scarlet map. These are EPA-generated maps, and what it does is it looks at the level of cancer risk due to exposure from industrial air pollution. That scarlet red means that if you live in that area, your risk of getting cancer through industrial air pollution is 95 to 100% higher than if you lived than other citizens in the United States. So it is a very significant public health issue. I'm going to end it here, but I just urge y'all as a board, Mr. Vélez, to join the coalition as Laredo ISD has, Webb County, the city of Laredo, to join the coalition as trustees and appoint 1 or 2 of your administrators. We need to find solutions to put an end to this public health threat in our community.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else for public comment? If you can state your name for the record, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Sheila Serna. I am the Climate Science and Policy Director at the Rio Grande International Study Center. I'm here today, just like Tricia, to talk to you about the pressing matter of Midwest sterilization in regards to ethylene oxide, commonly known as ETO, emissions being released in our community. A little bit about myself. My background is as a former TCEQ air quality investigator. I was an investigator from 2015 to 2020. I have firsthand experience with Midwest sterilization. I conducted several investigations at their facility. I observed firsthand the blind eye that TCEQ turned when I first discovered that ETO emissions were not properly being recorded and read from their gas chromatograph prior to 2018. Science from EPA's 2016 ETO review, as Tricia showed you, has shown us that exposure to ETO is 60 times more toxic to children than previously estimated. Children are the most vulnerable to toxic air pollution since they breathe more rapidly, spend more time outdoors, and are more prone to mouth breathing, which significantly increases the dose of pollution reaching the lungs. I'm here to tell you that TCEQ does not know the actual risk in our community because they have not conducted any air quality monitoring, even after community and school district expressed concern. We cannot blindly accept what they say without any science or data, including air monitoring. As members of the school board, you took an oath, and that states that you would execute the duties of the Office of School Board Trustee for UISD and would, to the best of your ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States. We are asking you to uphold that oath and protect the health of our community's children and everybody else. We are asking you not to turn a blind eye, as our state agency has done. We ask you to join the Clean Air Coalition, contribute to our cause, and contribute to helping us find solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Serra. We have one more.
Good afternoon. My name is Edna Ibarra, and I am a resident and a parent at Muller Elementary. I'm a resident in La Volta branch. I am also a member of the Clean Air Laredo Coalition. I'm coming here today as a parent, concerned and simply outraged and disappointed that we as a community are being left to fight on our own, an industry who puts profit before people. Our kids' first line of defense is you guys, the district. We are relying on you guys to protect our kids. And however, we find ourselves fighting our local politicians and state agencies on our own because UISD is turning a blind eye on this issue and mentioning that it's Midwest's fault for polluting our air. Look at what is happening right now. Our community, there is no water, there is a boil water notice, you counsel schools, give bottled water to campuses affected, you take action. Why? Because we need water to survive and operate. What happens with the air that we breathe? What actions are you taking? We need air to breathe. It's not a choice. Our kids in our district, in your district, are being forced to breathe this cancer-causing agent, and yet no action is being taken. My kids, myself, and all of us in our community are breathing this agent, and nobody's doing anything because, quote unquote, they are meeting TCEQ standards. I'm not saying that sterilization is something we don't need. If anything, this past 2 years have shown us how important our medical community is. However, the way I see it is that we are a sacrifice for those who need the medical equipment, and that is not right. I'm asking UISD to take action, join the coalition, join our fight, protect our kids. That is what we are here to do. Do not turn a blind eye. Our kids need us, parents, UISD board, our politicians. Like I said, we have no choice but to breathe air. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Any other public comments?
No, sir.
All right, so with that, we move on to agenda item 5, items for individual consideration. Agenda item 5A, it's to be approval of RFQ number 005-2021, architecture and engineering design and construction administration services for the new UISD Food Production Center. Yes, ma'am.
Sure, Angel, go ahead.
The first firm that will be presenting today will be Sepulveda Associates. They will have 10 minutes, just like every other firm, and the travel interview will take time.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board. Dr. Gonzalez, appreciate very much the opportunity to be here to make this quick presentation for you on the Food Production Center. My name is Robert Sepulveda, Sepulveda Associates Architects. Our team is here. Members of the team are present, including Victor Leanda, my son Roberto Sepulveda, Santiago, and we've got Joseph Martinez from our office here. We have a team that we put together for this project who've been very cohesive with us over the last 30 years or so, including Howland Engineering, the food service FDP, the food service consultant, Melissa Moore, NRG Engineering, John Rodriguez, and of course Victor De Anda, who's with us right behind us. We're very proud of our work that we've done with our clients here in our community. We've been in existence for over close to 30 years now. We've done over $950 million worth of work by ourselves as a lead firm, architecturally, and we're very proud of the first item that we have up there is 48 projects for UISD, and of course other clients that you see there. We were given the opportunity to design for you in 1995 the state-of-the-art facility, the present facility that you have right now, the Food Production Center. It was designed for 27,000 square feet, about $3.6 million. And so our focus is on 3 projects that we want to present to you right now during this 10-minute period, this being the first one that we designed in 1996. Again, a state-of-the-art facility where we did a great deal of research, went to visit sites in Dallas and in Houston, came up with a program of requirements, and was able to develop actual floor plans and actual facility that's actually built now. Again, cook-chill concept, which is something very new in our community in South Texas, was designed by our firm and our consultants at the time. Knowing, LISD, knowing that we had been the architects for UISD, they had an antiquated situation with buildings and facilities. They hired us in 2010 to design their facility on Saunders Street, 100 block of Saunders, West Saunders. It is a 23,000 square foot facility. It came in at $6.8 million, and it is fully equipped. It has very similar features with same spaces basically that you have. It is a cooking capacity of about 30,000 meals, whereas yours that you have presently right now was designed for 30,000 meals, which is now serving approximately 60,000 meals as we understand it. Okay. So we just passed a couple of slides quickly, and we can't get it back, but there we go. Okay. I apologize for that.
That's fine.
So the next slide was TxDOT. TxDOT, knowing that this facility had to be relocated, approached us in 2020 to be the architects to develop a feasibility study for UISD and for TxDOT to provide a fair and equitable design that then TxDOT could then recommend to UISD. We were hired based on the fact that we had already designed 2 facilities in our community. And so consequently, the design that you see here is Joseph has a drawings here of about a 35% set of construction documents, a real project that was actually designed with square footages and all of the amenities required for this facility. We were able to take on the job with the help and cooperation of UISD staff in providing us a program of requirement that we agreed on, that then we were able then to develop full-size and scaled drawings that included, of course, all of the services for food service, civil engineering, structural engineering, mechanical, real estate, geotech, and environmental studies. This report, which we have right here, I know that you all might be familiar with it, but this is a document 116 pages long, which was developed for you all to work with TxDOT on this design. So again, layouts that included expansion of the facility and actual administrative areas, all the production areas that you see there, and a 3D model. We actually have designed the drawings and documents of a 3D model for it, our Revit software that we use. We are right now finishing up an additional site that was recently given to us by TxDOT through working with you all for a new site, and that's the one top left drawing that you see there that we're working on at this time to finish this report in the next 60 days or so. The feasibility study included foundation plans, engineering drawings, cross-sections, detailed construction documents to obtain a real number, a real construction cost, which is outdated now because the report is about a year and a half old. And that's what we're doing right now in updating the new report. The next slide shows food production centers that FDP, our consultant, Melissa Moore, Dwayne Mickelson, have been involved with us. As you can see there, they've done 5 food production centers. These are done very, very sparingly. They're done maybe once in a generation per district or so. And so consequently, the facilities that they've done with Sepulveda Associates, 9 of them, Laredo ISD, 21 food production areas and kitchens and cafeterias, and then the United ISD, 10 of them. Food production centers that they've done, again, is McAllen ISD, the Cy-Fair Berry Center, the Laredo ISD, and the Cy-Fair ISD facilities that have a lot of the amenities of your same facility that you have right now. Commercial projects that we've been involved in, Sepulveda Associates, you see Laredo call it the very top one, is the Kaizen Student Center modernization, a very large facility that we were able then to design an expansion to their kitchen and their serving areas that serves about 2,500 students on a daily basis. Other facilities at LISD, Web Consolidated, Zapata, Diocese of Laredo, and UISD that we've been involved with, kitchens and cafeterias. I include this slide here for the new Joaquin Cigarroa Middle School. It has a very large kitchen and cafeteria. It's proposed to serve 1,300 students and staff members within a 2-period time frame for this cafeteria that we did. 261,000 square feet, $56 million, just started construction very recently. And of course, we're very proud, this last slide is our work at UISD. We've done a great deal of additions, remodelings. I mentioned to you 48 projects. Of course, the ones that we have, the largest projects, as you see, is the Food Production Center right now, and then the Service Center that's on the right-hand side, bottom right side. We are committed to excellence in everything that we do at our firm. We've been in existence for almost 30 years now. We've done work of over $950 million in this community by ourselves as the lead architect without additional firms from out of town helping us design our work. We produce our own work locally, and we feel we are the most qualified firm as we have designed 3 facilities in our community. We thank you. We're open for any questions that you might have at this time.
The Mr. Sepulveda, feasibility study that you, at this point, is already completed, is that correct? From your part that you handled with TxDOT?
Yes.
That pretty much?
We've done a report that was completed about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago. And then TxDOT recently hired us to do a site assessment, not so much the redesign of the building, but a site assessment on a new site. Apparently, the 2 sites that were recommended or initially in the report are not available anymore. And we understand that UISD has been working in securing another site. And so we've been given that information just very recently so that we can do the site assessment report and update the construction cost of this facility to be proposed at this new location.
Correct. So most of the legwork you already have there, so it's you've already way ahead of.
We know we're way ahead.
Right.
We've done all the research. We've done a lot of the programming. We work very closely with your staff at the beginning of the feasibility report to develop all of the program of requirements, what was going to be needed. We've designed a facility that's almost 100% larger than what you have right now. You have about a 30,000 square foot facility. We've designed one that's 54,000 square feet. And of course, that was going back and forth with all of the information that we were able to obtain at the time of the design.
Okay.
Robert, Mr. Sepulveda,
Yes, Mr. Castillo.
Frank Castillo.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Had a question regarding the expertise that you're showing us regarding food kitchens. Right now, because of the different things that are going on in the world, pandemics, just right now, water shortages, is there something that you can do now as an architect that would include that compensating for those problems? I don't know if I'm asking the right question, but you get my thought. How do we handle those urgencies? Do you have something that you can provide or tell us about or experience that you've had?
Well, I can't speak for my kitchen consultant. Unfortunately, she was not able, due to other commitments and a short time frame given to us, I was not able to get her here. They are extremely experienced, and they will provide you likely a different answer than I'm going to provide you real quickly. There's a storage capacity. So if potentially you need more warehousing, more water storage areas, things that you have a cook chill facility that allows for cooking of this food way in advance of the time that it's going to be used. We have designed it to where you are able, whereas you have right now 2 kettles, 2 large, gigantic kettles, we are proposing to put in 4 on the design. And that's included, and with an expansion possibility of that kitchen area. And so that allows you to cook way in advance, potentially, and of course have it chilled, properly stored, that then you are able then to maybe handle that in the future if the need should
Did
arise.
TxDOT require you to do some of that additional preparation?
No, TxDOT gave us very little input as far as how to design this. They are very hands-off. They said, Mr. Sepulveda, you work with staff at UISD, and we work with your food service staff to ask questions, and they provided us responses. And so they said, you design it the way you believe that it need, and fair and equitable design for this new facility. And so they have had really very little input as far as any design work is concerned.
Thank you, Robert.
And they've allowed us to design it the way we believe it should be designed, based on the square footages, based on the programming, based on the needs that you all require now. The original facility was designed for 30,000. You are serving about 60,000 meals. We've designed it for 60,000 meals now, and we've also allowed for expansion of the facility to serve easily another 30,000. Based on the study that we did at that time.
Very good. Thank you, Robert.
Yes, sir.
Well, it looked pretty good. I was gonna mention, maybe we could put a water supply on the side of
Yes.
with the thing that's going on right now.
Yes,
In case of a shortage of water, we'll have something to.
Yes,
to
a
fit
water
the-
tank, a water tower could be very easily added, incorporated to the project.
That's the main concern, I think, right now, the water storage and, how to supply our buildings
Sure.
where they can use.
We've
They have a
also-
light, but they don't have any water, so
Yeah.
they would feed the water in there.
We also talked about generators, emergency generators to run this whole facility in case of a disaster, that type of thing.
Yeah, for the freezers, that'd be
Yes.
pretty good, generators
Yeah.
for the different
That-
freezers,
that's
You
correct.
can always keep the merchandise.
That's correct. I believe you don't have that right now, and so we were proposing.
Maybe run some propane or something where we don't have to depend on electricity or it'll run straight on propane and propane lasts a long time to supply the other
Sure.
generators.
We can have a dual situation on the design.
Thank you.
Natural gas, and well, that was one of the requirements of your sites, that you needed natural gas on the site to, of course, operate.
Well, the only
about-
problem is when the city closes, the gas closes. Propane, you put a tank,
That's
and it's
correct.
always there.
Yeah.
You can always, and that's what they were saying last time, last year, when we were gonna have frozen in Rio Bravo and all those places where they shut the light off for 6 days.
Sure.
Propane would be because they don't, and even the gas stations, they were running out of gasoline, they were running out of the gas, they shut the system down.
Sure.
So like I said, you put a big storage tank, and you just use it for emergency. Or generators, in case the light goes off, they'll kick in to the facility.
Definitely.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Sepulveda, thank you very much for making the time, bringing us this information. We appreciate making the effort to be here today.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
The next card that will be presenting is Cavazos and Associates. They will also have 10 minutes for presentation.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Hello.
Sir.
Good afternoon, members of the board, superintendent. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to our presentation. Can you hear me okay with the mic level? Is it
Yes, sir.
okay? Okay. I'm Memo Cavazos with Cavazos Architects, and I'd like to introduce our team to you. Sergio Vela is an architect with Cavazos Architects as well. Victor De Anda with Synergy Structural Engineering. The two gentlemen on the right are Jeff Puig and Edward Ochoa with CEC Civil Engineering. We also hired a food service design firm out of Houston called Food Service Design Professionals, and they will be the specialty consultants on this project. And we also have an MEP firm, Energy Engineering, who will be the mechanical, electrical, engineering, and plumbing. Just a little bit about Cavazos Architects. We've been established in Laredo since 1971. My father originally, Willie, ran the firm. I've been working there for 20 years, and I've been the owner of the firm for the last 7 years. We've done a lot of different projects in Laredo, almost all local. We do big projects, for example, Nixon High School, which was completed in 2015. That was a huge $34 million complex project with a lot of different moving parts. And recently we're adding on to their vocational shops there. And I'll show you some photos a little further on in the presentation. We're doing a $16 million elementary school for Laredo ISD right now, Caguas Elementary. And we run the gamut all the way down to medium-sized jobs. We do a lot of small jobs. We've been your internal architect for the past 7 years. So we have a good relationship with the district, with Mr. Rangel and his staff, Mr. Alanis. We like to think we've been doing a good job for you all, giving you good customer service, since we've gotten that job renewed twice already. I'd like to add also that as part of being your internal architect, we did an assessment on the TxDOT version that Mr. Sepulveda designed of what they proposed for your complex. So we did visit your existing food production facility. We met with your staff, we toured the facility, we took a food service design professional, and we're aware of the issues there, of the size issues, that it basically was built when your district was half the size of what it is now. And we're aware of what your staff thinks about your existing facility. There's a lot of things that work about your facility. There's some things that don't work. But, our approach to this project is we want to listen to the boots on the ground, to your staff there. We're going to bring experts on board, the food service design professionals on board. They know all the ins and outs of what goes where, all the code issues, the latest in equipment and technology, and we'll help put everything together. But really also the boots on the ground, the people that work there are important too. And I'm not saying that they're going to design the project for us, but there's a lot of information and knowledge there that we can harness. And what I'm saying is, we're not going to come to you and say, here's your facility, this is the way it's going to be. We like to take the owner's input into account. And I can give you some examples of successful projects that we've done. I mentioned Nixon earlier, that's one of the big ones. And earlier on in when I started working here with my father, we did quite a few UISD projects and a lot of elementary schools for LISD, Lamar Middle School. We've done projects that involve food service, both at the commercial level, like Hal's Landing and Border Foundry, that kind of thing. We also do instructional, culinary arts facilities at the college level and at the high school level. And of course, all the commercial kitchens that we've done in the different schools. Food service design professionals, unfortunately they couldn't be here, but they have done over 2,300 facilities, including the Laredo ISD food production facility. And they've done 4 other ISD food production facilities. And I've got some photographs of the different food service projects. I wanted to show an example of some of our design work that we did for at Caguas Elementary there. This project is under construction, should be completed in 2023. And if you've driven by Nixon, you've seen the vocational buildings that have gone up. I wanted to mention these because similar in the vein of this food production center, this was a specialty project, something that we, it's not something you do quite often, and it turned out really well. We rely on our great team of experts, and the district is very, very happy with that. That was a very complex job, a lot of moving parts, but it really turned out to be quite a successful project. And then there's some examples of the work we've done for UISD as your internal architect. We upgraded the new facilities and support center where Mr. Rangel's office is currently. We've done recently some renovations at Alexander. That was kind of a master plan, site plan additions project that had a lot of moving parts. And so 10 minutes is not a lot of time, but I had to kind of squeeze everything I wanted to in there just to give you an idea of what we can bring to the table, the variety of projects that we tackled, and our general approach to the project. So I don't know how I'm doing on time.
3 minutes.
3 minutes left.
Sir.
Okay. Are the questions after the presentation or?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I can talk a little bit about our project administration procedures. We basically, being detail-oriented is one of the key aspects to a project. We make sure that we cross-check all of our specifications with our drawings. We have milestone reviews, regular meetings, with all of our consultants and with the owner to make sure that the project is on track and to make sure that we didn't miss anything along the way. And one of the things that we like to stress too is we're in the service industry business. I mean, we're design professionals, we're creatives, but at the same time, if a client isn't happy, you may lose their business. So we make sure that we're attentive to our projects, and basically I put myself in the owner's position. If I'm worried about something, I'm gonna want somebody to clear it up for me and not put it off or blow it off. So I make sure that our team is on it all the time. And you can ask Mr. Rangel and his staff too, and attest to that, that's something that we like to stress beyond just, design, architecture, and engineering. So that's pretty much my presentation.
I got a question.
Are there any
Go ahead.
questions?
Sir, I was wondering, because you brought up a good point when I saw the picture of the food distribution, the kitchen. If you're responsible also for the equipment that goes in there, in the design and how you're going to put it together, am I correct that you would also recommend the equipment that goes in there? I wanted to know, if you do, is it adaptable to anybody at any level of education? I guess the easier it is to handle an equipment, I guess the better for us, that we could have more people know how to manage that. I don't know if that question, you can answer that.
That's where we rely on our specialty consultant, on the food service / kitchen design
Okay.
consultant. They'll know all the specifics about the latest in equipment, and I guess what you're asking is the flexibility or the versatility of the equipment. So
Correct.
that's where it's important to assemble a good team, and that would be something that we would have to discuss with them.
Yeah, it's something for us to consider as board members in a school district, that we have the right people assigned to do certain work in certain areas of the kitchen, and that's where I was getting that question from. But thank you.
Sure.
Any other comments, questions? All right, Mr. Cavazos, we appreciate you making the time, making the effort to be here today, and appreciate the information presented to us.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Cook.
Thank you.
Architects, JHS, and they will also have to.
Thank you, ma'am.
Morning. Thank you, Miss. Good afternoon.
Good morning.
Hello.
Now, we're ready. Okay, whenever you Good morning. I'm Panomero Sanchez, architect, with me today. Thank you again for the opportunity to present to you. We're very happy and excited to be here today. I know we have really short time, so I want to just introduce my partners, Eddie Quiroga, Jeff Edwards, and he'll take over the presentation and have any questions. We're all here. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Are y'all comfortable if I take my mask off so you can hear me a little bit better? Okay, just for this. Thank you so much for having us today. My name is Jeff Edwards. I'm the CEO of Alta Architects, formerly Munoz & Company Architects. Maybe you've heard of us. We've got a long history of working with you guys and with JHS Architects. Thanks again for having us here today. I'm going to show you our organization chart. Again, we're teamed with JHS Architects. So this combining of teams that have worked on the last round of bond projects for UISD is responsible for a large percentage of the projects that you had in the last bond. Randy Hollis, who a few of you may know, I think, actually has COVID. And so apologies, I'm here filling in for him today. Thanks again for having me, and he'll be back on his feet next week is what we're hoping. We've got food service design professionals on our team and a whole host of other consultants that we've worked with on dozens and dozens of projects together. So it's a super familiar team who's ready to jump into this right away. Our firm, Alta Architects, is one of the largest K-12 architects in the state of Texas. We were formed back in 1927, so about 95 years old, done hundreds of projects all across the state of Texas. And for the past 10 years, we've been working with JHS Architects. So it's a great long-term partnership there. And we're excited to be here with them today as well. This is just kind of a preliminary listing of some of the projects that we've done, just to give you a sense of how extensive our K-12 experience is. A couple of noteworthy projects, just to kind of show you a couple of things we've done in the K-12 realm. So this is the Calchelsa Fine Arts Center that's been published worldwide, actually, in international magazines, won several design awards. Same thing with the Billy Dade Middle School. This was for Dallas ISD, won multiple architectural design awards for this particular project. And a very recently completed project we did for Houston ISD. This is the Wharton Dual Language Academy, just to give you a sense of what we're capable of doing. And for this work, we've been recognized, again, by many organizations, giving us over 150 jury design awards of excellence. Our team's experience with food service facilities. So we have done scores of projects that include food service facilities. This is a recent project that our team completed for Laredo ISD, Martin High School. It's a teaching kitchen where they teach students how to work in the kitchen and prepare food. We've got lots and lots of experience with our food service consultant, food service design professionals. We've done dozens of projects with them, many for UISD. We've done them for other ISDs. And we've also worked with them on projects for higher ed and other kind of larger types of projects as well. So we have a great familiarity with them, and we know how to work well with them. This is a recent project that we completed with food service design professionals for Fox Tech High School. And this is like a small version of what you all are doing here. So Fox Tech has 3 independent schools that are related to it. And this kitchen produces the food for all three of those campuses. As you can see, many of the projects we've done for UISD have included significant food service components to them. Our team also has experience with food service production centers. You can see the listing here of food service production centers, a couple of quick plans and images of these. Apologies, these aren't maybe the very best photos, but they kind of should give you a sense of what we are capable of doing. If we're lucky enough to be awarded this project, the first thing we're going to do is really sit down with you and start a strategy session. Talk about what the important aspects of the design of this project are. Really kind of plan for an efficient flow, make sure things are sized correctly. Really, again, sit down with your facilities team and with your food service team and really begin to kind of strategize on what's going to make this a successful food service production center. We'll, at a very early stage, bring in our mechanical engineers to make sure that everything's ventilated properly, that the lighting is nice, and that it becomes a very nice work environment. We'll also look at ways to really try and right-size things and use the correct equipment to minimize your operating costs as well. I mean, that's an important aspect for many school districts. We'll work with our mechanical engineers to make sure that we're trying to hold those operating costs as low as we can while still providing all of the necessary facilities in the building. All of this, in our minds, is in service of creating a great space that will produce great, nutritious food that the students will like, and will be a place that your employees, the employees of the district who work in that food service facility, want to work. I can speak from personal experience. We moved our office last year into a much nicer space than we ever had before, and it's amazing how much that boosts morale, and actually it makes production better as well. And so all of this stuff is in service to creating a space that people want to come to work every day, which will be great. When we get into the planning of this, we're really going to talk about operational efficiency, start to diagram how the flow of products comes into the facility, how it works its way through the facility, how it gets staged before it goes out, and then the ingress and egress out of the site to make sure that it's the most efficient facility that we could possibly design. A couple things that I think set our team apart. We are experts in extremely complex buildings. And so a kitchen is fairly complex. It's got a lot of very particular MEP requirements. So there's plumbing, there's electrical, there's special ventilation needs, and there's a lot of equipment. And all of that needs to be properly planned in really from day one. We actually did the AT&T Center for the Spurs. We just got through with a major renovation. Not the same kind of building, but this is an incredibly complex building, and it has multiple food service facilities within that building. And they trusted us to design this for them because they know that we understand how to be, you can pick which analogy you prefer, either the conductor of an orchestra or the quarterback of a football team, right? That's what the architect does. He brings together people with subject matter expertise, and he manages that process. And so a lot of this is getting great people in the room together, drawing that information out, and then having it reflected in the design. And I will tell you, people in San Antonio love this facility, so it's very successful. We also designed the Applied Physics building for Southwest Research in San Antonio. The room on the right is actually said to be the quietest room west of the Mississippi River in the entire United States. And I was told this by several of the scientists who work there. They won't even tell us all of the experiments that go on in this building because they're top secret things. This is a project that we did, that they entrusted us with because it was extremely complex and they knew that we understand that level of complexity of projects. Similarly, the Southwest Foundation for Biomedical Research. This is a biological safety level 4 lab. There are literally only 4 of these in the entire United States. Again, I know this is not a kitchen facility, but there are 4 of these, and they entrusted our team to design this because they know we understand the complexities of a project like this.
1 minute left.
Okay. We also have a high-quality design process. Part of making a successful project is setting things up correctly from the very beginning and making sure that everybody is working off the same sheet music. Again, the idea of being that conductor or quarterback. One of the things I want you to note on this slide, at every stage, after we finish preliminary design, schematic design, we want to come back in front of you and show you, get your approval, show you what we've been up to make sure that we're all heading in the right direction. These are some of our management methodology tools that we use to make sure everybody's working together. And then a final series, we go above and beyond. This is what we did for CPS Energy, our energy company in San Antonio. We help them, we understand maybe the site, we're not sure if it's been selected, that maybe the site hasn't been selected. We did a feasibility study where we looked at 3 different sites and we analyzed it in terms of topography, slopes, all of the services coming into the site, like sewer, water, access, gas service, to help them understand. And then that actually allowed them to choose the most cost-effective site to build their facility on. And we would do that for you guys. At the end of the day, it's all for the students, and we want to see that happen, and we're at Q&A. Sorry I ran a little bit long. Thank you for humoring me.
Any questions?
With that, we'll open it up to questions.
I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
I noticed one of your slides said 2009, you did some work with UISD kitchen, or was it food services? It's toward back. I'm just trying to remember if you could refer to that. What did you do? What did you do? Yeah. 2009. Just wanted.
So Doug, okay.
I think go back. I think.
Got a little bit further. Well,
I think you might have passed it.
I did?
Yes. It was listing, and I just wanted to know, you've done work with the kitchen?
So again, that's my apology. Randy Hollis has done dozens of projects down here with you guys, I think.
Okay. Well,
so I'm not sure which one had the date on it.
I think, well, it's in there, but anyway, if you could recall what it was, I just wanted to get an idea.
Yes,
Miami are consultant, it's our consultant. It's LISD, actually, it's LISD Production Center.
Oh, it's not yours? It was
that's one of
UISD?
our team members. Again, so from our perspective, this is about the kind of the quarterback strategy, bringing together the best possible team to work on this. And so food service design professionals, somebody we've done, again, dozens and dozens of projects with, they've done multiple facilities like this, and that may be what we were looking at.
And I think they also work with the UISD Production Center.
That's what I was asking, what was it that you
Oh,
did?
I'm sorry. It's the Food Consultants Production Center. Okay.
That's fine, I just
Okay.
was curious if you recall that.
You can keep quizzing me as we're looking, as I'm going back here. Sorry about that. So again, Laredo Production Center.
That's LISD.
Yeah. Am I doing Okay, yeah. So those numbers are coming, so I think they put the years on there as well.
Yes.
Because in other words, we want to explain that like those dollars are, previous day's dollars, so those may not still hold here. But yes, they did,
I guess my question is, on the Laredo ISD, you didn't create the whole kitchen, you just did some work for them?
There's few kitchen consultants. It's like if you were doing a theater, there's a fine arts consultant that comes in and helps the rest of the team. A series of consultants. Subject matter experts, exactly.
Right.
So they've actually worked on the LISD and the prior UISD Food Production Center, and they've also worked on the middle schools that are currently being built right now. We've also done we work with the elementary schools. We have another food consultant for that.
Okay.
But this current consultant has actually done more of the large food production centers in South Texas.
Okay, that's your business. your business on this
And so
side.
this is our team's work, right?
Your
And so
team.
they've done, we wanted to show you that our team has dealt with the food production centers, because a lot of districts don't necessarily centralize like this, and we just wanted to let you know that our kitchen consultant completely understands this process and how this works.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have one quick question. It's not about your experience, but the kitchen consultants I'm noticing are pretty much the same consultants throughout all the different teams that have been presented. Is that?
It's true.
I guess because they're very limited.
It is true. And again, and I think what you're going to find is that a lot of people have picked this particular kitchen consultant because they have a lot of experience with these consolidated food production centers. A couple things I guess I would point out. We have done a tremendous amount of work with them ourselves, and that familiarity with each other usually leads to a better process. And the second thing is, again, I'm going to go back to those very, very complex projects. Like when we did the BSL-4 lab, for instance. We had never, done exactly that before, but they trusted us because they knew we knew how to organize this process, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for the information, for the presentation, and for being here today.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for having us today.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carrera.
Our next firm is Able City, and they will also have 10 minutes, and Mr. Mario Peña will introduce his team.
Thank you, Mark.
Can I just give it a quick test here? Can't see that far. Okay, we take off our mask? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Peña. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon. Yes, thank you. I have a quick question about the format. We have 10 minutes and a question and answer? Is that true?
Yeah, 10 minutes. We can, we've been doing the questions at the end, but, we have questions in between. We might just ask them, but, we'll let you present and see if we can stick to that format and questions at the end. Mr. Peña.
Great. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure.
All right, we'll start. Well, first of all, thank you. On behalf of Able City's 27 employees and the entire team, we thank you. It's a pleasure and an opportunity to present our team to you. We are a locally led team of pretty much the best consultants we could find for a specific specialty project like this. One key criteria to us working with the team we put together is that we've worked with them. We've got a long history of working with them, up to 20 years with most of the team that's on here. So we're not learning how to work with any of them. Secondly, we want to thank staff for their recommendation. It's not easy to keep up with UISD's very high standards, and to be able to excel and gain their recommendation to you means a lot to us. The evaluation criteria that they used was our capability to perform, our relevant experience, the caliber of our key personnel, our capability to meet schedules and budget, by the way, quality of our prior projects, and of course, our references. Now, of course, we understand that we must work to realize this board's vision for the district. And we hope that this presentation can explain how we can continue to deliver that for many years to come. Our capability to perform. So, as some of you might not know, Able City is the combination of Hickey Peña Architects and Frank Architects. Our history working with the district goes back 40 years, working continuously. We've worked on over 50 projects with UISD, but now as a combined firm, we count on over 27 employees, 17 of them are local, 6 registered architects, 3 certified planners, and again, we worked on over 50 facilities with UISD. Part of the evolution of the firm is we've integrated a variety of services, and we put them under one roof to serve our clients better. One of them is urban planning, which may not seem obvious as far as its relevance to this project, but the scale of a facility of this size that is industrial and its connection to a state highway, for example, its connection to the other development that goes around it, this elevates this piece of the design, to a point where it's very, very important. Staying on schedule. So staying on schedule and budget. Clicker isn't working. All right, so we've developed a proven approach to track budget along with design. Beginning at the very early stages of design, we do an evaluation of your budget versus your program and the size of facility, and we make sure that those two things are aligned, because those changes on paper being made early on are the least expensive way to make sure that changes are made. It's better that we make them then and not after. So keeping track of this early on, having a baseline, and then checking in at every single milestone to make sure that our design continues to track against your budgets is a major part of what we do. Next, design development and QA, QC. Quality assurance and quality control really begins with the quality of communication that we have with your staff in evaluating the designs that we're proposing. As you can see, there's a rendering here on the left-hand side of the screen. That was done about 3 months into the design process. The level of detail we've learned to give you because of our 12 years working with building information modeling technology allows us to have very elevated and detailed conversations with your staff. And so the expected outcome, right, is just what you'd expect, right? The construction project that you see on the right is what was built based on the design that you see here on the left. So predictability, a detailed look at things early on is critically important to this process. As our firm grew from 2 12, 10-person firms into now a team of 26, 27 people, we have had to adopt the best practices of companies that are running, large groups of teams of thousands of people that are working all over the world. The companies that we've worked with, that we've learned, their best practices, and we've adopted them into our processes. So we've developed a comprehensive checklist group that all our project managers are assigned to. So they go through each and every one of those checklists as we move through the project. Especially on a project with this complexity, this becomes incredibly important to make sure things aren't falling through the cracks. We also analyze our workload versus our levels, our team levels. We're looking at our workload for the next 6 months and making sure that we have enough personnel to service all those projects. We want to make sure that all our clients believe in how we treat them, that they're our only clients every step of the way. All right. So I'm happy to say that for this particular project, Able City has more than enough resources free to deliver this job, even if it's fast track. Our relevant experience, really just want to refer to some numbers here again. We have 40 plus United ISD projects, and as an entire team, we have 800 plus K through 12 education facilities. We have a deep bench of personnel to service all our projects. They're all experienced, but more focused on this specific type of facility. Our team counts on 200 plus food preparation and production related facilities throughout the state of Texas. Beginning with Able City, our work here in Laredo includes over 10 years of experience working on refrigeration and food handling facilities in the private and the public sector. This is a private facility, very large scale freezer facility that we did for a private client. This is your facility on the loop now that will be replaced. We did the most recent addition to that facility. Overall, Able City counts on approximately 2 million cubic feet of refrigeration facilities in Laredo. We're the only firm that can say it. We worked on the South Texas Food Bank. This is some work some of our consultants worked on, and Sean will tell us some insight he's found out about this facility. It's the McAllen Food Production.
Sure, thank you. At McAllen ISD, what they're finding right now is that nowadays a central food production facility needs even more freezer and storage capacity. And some of that is for resilience because they keep having unexpected events. COVID takes out half their staff, or a weather event interrupts power or water, but also for efficiency, for being able to buy food in larger lots, larger quantities. And that's a trend really we've been seeing all over.
So as you can see, in planning into the future might mean that we're focusing more on the refrigeration and storage side of a facility. Here's just some, this is the LISD Food Production Center that one of our team members worked on as well. On the food prep side, we have a consultant that is focused solely on food preparation. They're on our team. They've got hundreds of projects through the state of Texas and have completed now 6 food production centers, just like the one we're talking about here. I'm talking about our key personnel. It's important to note that not only do we have a key bench of highly experienced project managers that have been working with our team for, on average of 10, 15 years. Some of them are back here. But our key personnel that are leading the project all have an average of 20 years experience working with UISD.
1 minute.
We're very proud of our experience. Thank you. Working for you all. And a lot of it is related to food production, especially when you focus on Able City's experience with food handling facilities in the city. I think overall, we can deliver stand-up quality, local capability, and we'll talk about our commitment to community in a minute. Again, I think the stats show it. We've got plenty of experience to refer to in working with you. We know how to work with you. We're locally led, not only locally led, but very importantly, the work will be locally produced because the expertise lies within the prime, which is Able City. An important note there. I'll pause here for a minute. We want to give you just some quick insight on the soul of Able City. We are committed to improving people, planet, prosperity, and good governance. Do you mind if I finish my statement? It's just this one
Go ahead,
last slide. Sure. Thank you. So we formalize these commitments through the Council of Inclusive Capitalism with the Vatican. Our commitments are posted online on our website. Ultimately, the fundamental reason we do business has evolved. And so just like you, we do our work to improve our society, our community, the lives of our employees. So ultimately, our firm came together to do our part to make sure that the resources you're committing to this project can help meet the challenges that we're facing today, tomorrow, and so your investment can serve you for a very long time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peña. Any questions, comments?
Regarding your points, I don't know if you want to elaborate just briefly for me, because I was very happy to hear you talking about keeping within budget and quality assurance.
Right.
Quality assurance, making sure that what you say you're going to do, you're going to do it. Can you elaborate on that just for my purposes? I really enjoy listening to that.
Thank you. Well, so I'll move back to here. So in the last 5 or 6 years, well, probably a little longer than that, we have made a concerted effort to grow our company into a company with all of the resources and procedures that would let us compete with any large firm across the country. And we've implemented that. And a lot of it is just developing this industry standard checklist and all of the procedures and instructions and follow-up to make sure that those things are being checked off. We've actually developed some of these with your team. We have our action item agendas, which they assign tasks for every team member along the way during design and construction. and then we tag who's responsible, when the date's due, and the entire team is organized around this tool that again we've developed with your team here at with your team here at UISD. Some of them are industry standard, some of them are developed specifically for you. Yeah, it was interesting to go through the journey of managing a team that was double the size, right? From overnight as our two companies merged, and then all of a sudden it just became critically important for us to get organized for scale, organized for service most of all, so that we're giving you even better services and we take advantage of the large team that we have at Able City.
Thank you, sir.
Did that answer your question?
I'm good with that. Thank you.
All right, so, Mr. Peña, thank you very much. We thank all your team for being here today and for the information presented to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And by the way, the presentation you have in front of you was the presentation we gave to staff. We shortened that a bit, so there might have been some mismatch on what you're flipping through and what you saw on the screen. So sorry for that. We wanted to give you the full presentation, at least in print.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Peña.
Dice, no hay agua, pero aire sí hay. Aire frío. Aire frío sí hay. Sí, pues, sí. Mr. Puig, Mr. De Anda, no, ya se pararon 3 o 4 veces. Thank you. Yeah, man, son los mismos. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us this afternoon. My name is Fernando Garcia with KNRG Architects out of San Antonio. We're here to give you a presentation on our firm. I did bring Travis Matar with Amica Silver Engineering and James Cosper with Cosper Kitchen Consultants, and they will be doing part of the presentation. KNRG Architects was established in 1921. We just celebrated our 100 years in the San Antonio area. We've done numerous K through 12 projects. We're 5 registered architects, 2 interior designers, and we've done over 350 types of new and renovation to different school districts around the San Antonio area. We like to take a holistic approach to our designs. I think one of the things that we bring to the table is we have a lot of partner involvement. I'm here today. My partner and myself will be here for the first design meeting, for the review meetings. We're here through construction. We like working very closely with the school districts, the user groups, the contractors. I think that's one of the things that we've learned over the years is that listen to what the needs are of the district and try to develop a project that helps meet those needs. We do have a really strong construction experience, and we do work really well with our contractors. A lot of the projects that we do are repeat projects because of the relationships that we have built over the years with our different partners, our design teams and our contractors. A lot of the design build projects that we've gotten over the years have been through relationships that we've developed with our contractors through projects. As we meet, they understand that we feel that we understand the side of the client, we understand the side of construction, and we're a good kind of puzzle, put everything together and help them work through it. We have worked on several new child nutrition projects. We have done one for the NAISD school district. We have also worked on the SAISD child nutrition project. We were also asked by Northeast ISD to be their owner representative on the design build project. We weren't the architects of record, but the district asked us to come in and kind of be their eyes and ears because of our knowledge of the child nutrition stuff. We've also done some private development for warehousing and cold storage, food processing, those items. We've also worked on several kitchens for high schools, kitchens for middle schools and elementary schools, and some private developers, some private This is for the Kingsland Mud Community Center. It's a private kitchen, kind of catering / event center kitchen. And we've done some commercial projects. We've done projects for Dunkin' Donuts. We've done numerous projects for H-E-B's and their bakeries, delis, their refrigerated spaces. We have done several restaurants. So we understand the process of corporate and how to work with their teams to develop their standards, develop their kitchen flows, items of that nature. We've done some private event centers that also have kind of catering kitchens, catering and event centers that have, again, commercial kitchens, commercial dealing with the health department, dealing with the mechanical and electrical systems of each individual project. This was actually an old school that was renovated for a private developer in San Antonio. Although we didn't have a picture of it, they do have a commercial kitchen where they do make food and cater, or you can come and have an event here at this location. But one of the things that we've learned over the years is that as the architect, we're kind of responsible for gathering the team together, kind of focusing the group. But we realize we don't know everything. So we hire or we bring on consultants that understand our process, that we've had relationships with for many years, to work on and help us with these projects, just to have their level of expertise look at, from their side of the project. I'd like to turn it over to Silver and Associates. Travis, he can kind of give you a little bit about his firm, the MEP side of the project.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Fernando. My name is Travis McLeod. I'm the principal owner of Silver and Associates. Our firm is celebrating its 52nd year in business. We started in 1970. And over the course of that time, we've done, Fernando and I were talking about it on the way here, we've actually done probably close to 50 projects together over those years with KNRG and its partnership. I think our strength as an MEP engineer is listening to the client and what their needs are, not only what their current needs are, but actually listening to what kind of future expansion you might have. I think we spend a lot of time planning with an owner. For example, if you had any desire to expand, we can pre-plan the MEP system. But primarily our function as an engineering firm is to provide power, water, air conditioning, and those type of utilities for the facility. I think people know us primarily. We're somewhat utilitarian in our design concept. We'd like to spend a lot of time working with the facilities group of any school district to find out exactly what their needs are for maintenance purposes. We feel like that's a really big deal when we can work directly one-on-one with anybody in their facilities group to find out how are you going to work on this facility, how is it going to be maintained, and how do we design something that will physically stand the test of time, but also figure in your budget as well. So that's something that's pretty core to our beliefs as an MEP engineer. If you look up there, that's just a small example of some of the recent projects that we've done. We've done over the course of our career over 16 high schools, all of which obviously had kitchens to them. We've done restaurants, and the one that we're currently working on is H-E-B's corporate headquarters, has a brand new cafeteria and kitchen that's a pretty good size. So we're proud to be associated with that project as well. In general, that's basically what we've done, and the most recent project we've done with KNRG is the Child Nutrition Center for the San Antonio Independent School District. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm James Cosper. I'm president of Cosper & Associates Food Service Consulting and Design Firm in San Antonio. We've been in business, this June will be 19 years. Prior to that, I was employed and later partner of a firm for 14 years, a food service consultant there. So combined, I have approximately 33 years of experience. Over that 33 years of experience, we've worked on multiple projects throughout the state of Texas. Probably 75% of our current business is K through 12 school-related projects. We provided our consulting services and design of 4 large central production facilities. One of them is the Valley View ISD. It's a small district down in Pharr, Texas. They were wanting to produce 10,000 meals a day, so we did a small cook-chill type operation for them. Most recently completed project is the San Antonio Food Bank. It's approximately 30,000 square foot kitchen facility. Their goal is to produce 40,000 meals per day. They too have a cook-chill type operation there. We've got a project currently under construction. It's the Meals on Wheels project, the senior feeding program there in San Antonio. Their new facility, they wanted to produce 10,000 meals a day, so that's currently under construction. And then the last project on that list is Delia's Tamales down in San Juan. We're under design right now. Construction documents are near completion. That's a 75,000 square foot facility, large tamale production, cook-chill operation. So that's just an idea of some of the larger food production facilities that we have done. Of course, we work on corporate projects. We've got the project for TxDOT, their headquarters in Austin. It's currently nearing completion. We were the kitchen consultant on that as well. As far as experience with United ISD, we did work with another architectural firm in the development of y'all's presentation, I think.
1 minute.
To TxDOT. We were involved with some of the initial planning as far as conceptual design, trying to size design analysis to get the square footage on that so the property could be selected. So we look forward to hopefully working with the district in the development of that project, not only for their current needs, but their future needs as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Questions?
So although I didn't make it, we did have a structural engineer and civil engineers that are on the team. Again, just long-term relationships with all our consultants. So thank you very much for considering our team. Look forward to any questions you may have.
Thank you. We appreciate you giving us the presentation, taking the time to be here this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the board. That was the last of the 5 presentations you heard today. In each of your stations, you receive some scoring sheets that when you're done, you can give us back so that we can tabulate for you if you wish. Thank you.
We gotta sign it. We have to sign it. Sure. Request and all these things.
And just so the board knows, Mr. Enrique Rangel, who's our superintendent for facilities and construction, is also available for any questions if you all have any questions for him.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a staff recommendation?
Yes.
We do, Mr. Castillo.
What is it?
Yes, well, we had a committee of 8 administrators, and we interviewed extensively all 5 firms, and based on the criteria, it was very difficult because all the firms are qualified.
Yeah.
But the key for us was the capability to meet schedules and deadlines and budgets, the size of the firm, what is their production capability. So the recommendation of the staff was to recommend Able City Architects as the most qualified firm. Of course, they are in a team with Fluger Architects and Able City, who submitted this, very experienced in this type of facility, very complex. So, and it's just a matter of a few points here and there, and they all have great qualifications, but the capability to meet the deadlines. Was this special project having to do with TxDOT, and it's extremely fast-tracked, and meeting budgets. That was one of the key decisions for the committee. So we bring to the pleasure of the board that recommendation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So what happens now? We're going to tabulate this? Or?
Believe so. And then
A board member is also inclined to make a
we'll
motion based on a top 3 ranking, and if there could be discussion based off of that as well, so.
Well, we can only hire one, right?
You can only hire one. The options are to go with staff recommendation. A board member can make a motion with them ranked as they saw them, or we can go strictly off the tabulations. It's basically up to the board's decision at the end of the day in a consensus.
Also, 4 of the 5 firms were using the same kitchen consultant, and 4 of the 5 firms were using the same structural engineer. So the only difference was, the civil engineer and the actual architectural team. The first 4, the last one happened to be.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so we'll move on to agenda item 5B. We're gonna go ahead and revisit 5A after we finish tabulating the scores. So agenda item 5B is discussion and possible action regarding modifications to resolution of the board for extension of district-provided emergency paid sick leave for eligible district employees.
So Mr. Velez, I had a brief discussion this morning with staff and legal counsel. There's a lot of different options and different ideas that I'd like to have the board look at and consider within the current resolution that we have and we just passed about a week or two ago.
Right.
Ms. Oliveros is not present. She was a co-sponsor. So I would ask that we table this to perhaps the March 8th, the next round of, then we have committee meetings in early March.
The committee meetings, correct, the committee meetings would be on March 8th, I believe.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion to table by Mr. Montemayor for the next committee meetings on March 8th. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, so Mr. Ramirez, second. Any other discussion?
Yes, I wanted to say that I have not had a chance to talk to anybody other than what I see as far as the speakers that came to us last time. I can't say enough. They were articulate. They were speaking from the heart. I love that they were very professional about it. And I did not have a chance to congratulate them or thank them enough that they kept it very civil. I think in my mind, I'm going toward the idea of trying to give them some incentives, additional incentives, different incentives for them to get immunized, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, and I do not feel that I want to, as their words were being punished, I don't want to punish the people that did get vaccinated, who took advantage of this opportunity. So if I can just say my particular view, I would like to see them get something so they can come and get vaccinated. And that's my comment. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. I think that the time by us pushing it to March the 8th will allow us to be able to come up with some type of compromise and some solution. I know it's only a fraction of our employees that are not vaccinated, so hopefully we can come to a good understanding and compromise.
Or even just clarify, sorry, even just clarify what the current policy is with regards to, paperwork and contacts and things like that. So, but, perhaps we can do this in executive session, the next meeting, so we can have an opportunity to elaborate more on this.
Sure, yeah, we would be able to go under consultation with legal counsel if you wanted to discuss this item in.
And if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Correct. And then just to make, so the board's aware, all trustees are aware, there is also, the individuals that came last week, there is also a pending grievance that was filed against the district by those named individuals that is still pending at level 2.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment on that matter. I think we have over 90% of our employees vaccinated. So, what is it gonna say if we allow people that are not vaccinated, to get the same time of the other people that make it the effort to get vaccinated? And first of all, we need to look at our children, and then you have to look at the employees they work with. They also have rights. It's their right not to get vaccinated, fine, but then the children and the employees that work with them have the right also for safety. They don't want to wear a mask, fine. They don't want to get rid, fine. But then, it's the right of the district to look out for children, employees, fellow employees they work with, already working with children without a mask, and they're not getting vaccinated. That's two different dangerous. I think personally, I take it like it's very not fair for the other employees.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Molina. All right, so we have a motion, a second. We had some discussion, some comments from Mr. Castillo, Mr. Montemayor, and Mr. Molina. Any further discussion on that matter? All right, so all in favor to move and table the item for the next committee meeting on March the 8th? Aye.
Aye.
All those against? None against. So item will be tabled, moved to the March 8th committee meeting. All right, so moving back to agenda item 5A.
I make a motion that we accept the staff recommendation of Able City.
All right, so we have a motion by Mr. Castillo. I think we're gonna, before we get the second, see if we get a tabulation from our voting here. Okay, ma'am.
We do have a motion on the floor. I don't know if there's a second behind the staff recommendation.
All right, there's a motion by Mr. Castillo to accept recommendation from the district.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Montemayor.
What was the motion, sorry?
Motion is to approve recommendation from UIZ staff to go ahead and do approval for Able City, the Able City firm. So that's a recommendation. Mr. Castillo went ahead the motion. Mr. Montemayor did the second already. So any further discussion? All right,
Well, the only discussion is why are we here? We're gonna take the recommendation of staff. I
Right.
think the board's
Well, I
going to
wanted-
make the recommendation.
Right, so I think within discussion, I think if we have the tabulations,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, we'll want to see where we're at there, but yeah, we'll follow through with the motion and the.
Okay, the highest ranked vendor was Sepulveda and Associates with 158 points. The second highest ranked vendor was Able City with 154 points. And the third vendor was JHS Architects, Alta Architects with 141. And then Cavazos with 140, and KNRG with 122 points.
I want to make a motion to stick with the highest vendor.
All right, so we'll go.
Second?
Okay, so we're already, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Garcia, we're already in the discussion phase of the first motion. Do we have to proceed with that one, or?
No, so basically, Mr. Rodriguez's motion, which got a second from Mr. Molina, takes precedent over the
Okay,
first
so
motion.
we follow on that second, that's a motion.
That is correct. So the motion on the floor is to go with what Mr. Rodriguez said of
The
Sepulveda.
highest ranked. Okay, so motion on the floor by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Ms. Molina, to go ahead and hire Sepulveda and as the highest ranked. Do we have any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so it's 3 ayes. All those against? So that it's a
motion
tie.
dies.
The motion dies. We'll go back to the original motion, which
Staff
is by
recommendation.
Mr. Castillo to approve recommendation from staff. We had a second by Mr. Montemayor. Any further discussion on that one? All those in favor to hire the recommendation by the district? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. All those against?
Aye.
Okay, so, all right, so motion passes, recommendation by district as the firm to be hired.
Thank you very much.
All right, so with that, we move on to agenda item 6. It'll be adjournment. Time is 1:44. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion, 1:44. Thank you very much.